It's Kim Weeks with the new show Reset, and it's April 9th, and this is another day in the life in my kitchen. And today I'm going to talk about sauerkraut and its high nutritional value for your body and how to make it really easily. I'm going to talk about chicken stock, which is waiting to be made on my stove, and if we have time, hopefully Amaranth, which is an excellent breakfast porridge. So shout out to the bunny, because it's April 9th, and as we all, well, many of us had this sort of Easter bunny situation, and I just don't know what to do with all of these plastic bags filled with candy. You just want to make them disappear. You know, we're still sort of getting through our Halloween candy. So anyway, just another day in the life in the kitchen. So here's the deal. This is whey. I've talked about this in a lot of my previous segments, and whey is a byproduct of yogurt, a byproduct of milk products. Basically, this is yogurt I bought from Trader Joe's. I put it in this sack, this kitchen towel basically, and I'm straining the whey, which basically is the same bacteria, has the same properties enzymatically and for sort of high digestion as this bacteria that covers the surfaces of lots of root vegetables like carrots, cabbage, radishes, beets, etc. The deal is, we know that we have to cook or chemically alter those vegetables that I just talked about in some way in order to just digest them at all. When you make sauerkraut, you are fermenting the vegetable. You're actually increasing the good bacteria in and on the vegetables, the cabbage, and anything else that goes in with it, in such a way that by the time you start to eat those vegetables, your body recognizes that bacteria as part of what it needs in itself, in the gut, to extract nutrients and minerals from the actual foods you're eating. Not just the sauerkraut itself, but also the foods you eat along with the sauerkraut. So think about it this way. If you eat a little bit of fermented food with every meal, you're increasing the nutritional value and allowing for higher absorption of your food overall. Okay, so it's just a really intelligent way of eating and improving your gut flora. So this whey, as I talked about, basically is that bacteria that you don't have to apply, especially if you have a really significant milk allergy, but you should if you don't, to the making of your sauerkraut, because of basically all of the advantages that whey brings to the fermentation process. So what I'm going to do with this huge bag of shredded cabbage, it was a huge head, so I'm splitting it in two. One half is going to be my sauerkraut, my traditional German sauerkraut, which, by the way, only has caraway, cabbage, a little bit of salt, and a few tablespoons of whey. And all you do is you pound the cabbage. This is my recipe. Everybody's got, well, everybody who makes, everybody. All the chefs of the world have lots of opinions about sauerkraut, at least I hope so. Anyway, so half I'm going to use the traditional sauerkraut, the one, spices caraway, which you don't really have to use, but it really increases the flavor. And so in my recipe, you take sort of a meat pounder or some kind of pounder and pound at the vegetables to sort of release their juices, so that when you stuff it in a mason jar, which, by the way, this is way too small, you need a bigger one, you smush the cabbage with all of its released juices underneath the liquids that it has released under the pounding, and let it sit for a few days, and then put it in cold storage, and it frankly keeps for, oh my gosh, forever. The other half of the cabbage I'm going to use is to make cortito, or Latin American sauerkraut. So it's so interesting. All over the world, different cultures have different opinions on how to ferment cabbage. And so basically the Latin Americans ferment their cabbage with carrots and with onions, with a little bit of red pepper, and this is oregano. Basically, it's the exact same process. Pound it all in, put it in here, and I'm going to wind up having two sauerkrauts, one with caraway, if you know what that tastes like. It's a very, very distinctive flavor that can go with anything. But then the Latin American sauerkraut, the cortito, can go with, basically anything that you think oregano and hot pepper and onions and carrots match with. Next time I'll probably do some kimchi, which is just as easy to make. Again, it's just basically Korean sauerkraut, or sauerkraut is German kimchi. So anyway, over here I am basically doing this huge bag. This is basically a bag of chicken bones. Again, vegetarians look away because it's not for the weak of heart. But these are just chicken bones. You need about 3 pounds of chicken bones that you throw into your crock pot. which I'm going to do here. And what you do once you throw your chicken bones in there, 3 pounds or so of it, cover it with water, put celery, carrots, and onion, 1, 2, 3, in there with a tiny bit of vinegar, just like a tablespoon or something. Let it sit for a little while to basically let all of the stuff get ready, turn it on, and literally simmer it for as long as 24 hours. I usually go overnight, like 12 hours, let it just simmer overnight. And then boom, you've got the most delicious stock for just about anything you want. Sauces, soups. My kids love it on rice and on pasta. They'll just, hey, can I have some, rice with chicken broth and butter? And boom, that's like basically their grain for the night. The final thing that I'll talk about then is amaranth. Not too extensive a recipe, but basically half a cup of this needs like 1.5 cups of water. It can and should sit like overnight in that water with that whey I just showed you. And then you put it on the stove in the morning, simmer it for 30 minutes, and you've got a very sweet, delicious, protein-filled breakfast for your kids. It's a slight, an alternative to oatmeal. It's Kim Weeks with Reset. 3 things we went over today: amaranth in reverse order, chicken stock, and various kinds of kimchi, sauerkraut, cortito, fermented cabbage. See you again soon.